Good morning and welcome to another episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT, where we spend 15 minutes helping you create a movement habit. Today, we're going to focus on our cars. So we're going to go through all of our major joints and we're going to put a little bit more volume today. So we're going to do 5 reps of each. We'll start off in our hip car position, lying on our side. Hands clasped together. We'll go nice and slow through these. Slowly bringing our knee to our chest, that's hip flexion. Opening up. Again, I want you to go really slow and controlled on these. This is abduction. Then we're going to rotate that ankle behind the knee. It's internal rotation. Pressing back into extension. Dropping down to midline. Knees together. And reverse. We have extension. Pressing that knee back. Pointing that knee to the ceiling in abduction. Externally rotating now, feeling every movement. Pulling that knee to the shoulder. Returning to midline. And knees together. We'll start again. Again, we're going to do 5 reps on each side. Pulling the knee to the chest in flexion. Opening up into abduction. Internally rotating. Pressing that knee back into extension as far back as you can, dropping down to midline, knees together, and we'll reverse with extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, dropping down to midline, knees together, and again, slowly pulling that knee to the chest, opening up, pointing that knee to the ceiling, internally rotating that ankle behind the knee. Feel that tissue on the lateral side of your hip as you push back into extension. Return to midline, knees together, and reverse. Squeezing your glute, pulling that knee back. Opening up into abduction, that's away from midline, externally rotating. Pulling that knee to your shoulder, return to midline, knees together. Take a quick second here. We got 2 more. Again, pulling the knee to the chest, opening up, get that knee pointed towards the ceiling, internally rotating, get that ankle behind the knee, pressing back into extension, return to midline, knees together, pressing back into extension, opening up, point the knee to the ceiling, externally rotating, pulling the knee to the shoulder, return to midline, knees together, and one more time, nice and slow, feel the burn, flexion, abduction, internal rotation, pressing back into extension, return to midline, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together. Excellent. We'll go to the other side. Again, with our cars, we mostly do 3 reps. We're going to add this volume of 5 just so you can see an example of how your tissue changes when we add more volume. Your hips should feel a lot better. All of your joints should feel a lot better after this. Okay, starting off by pulling that knee to the chest. Again, going nice and slow, opening up, controlling the whole movement, internally rotating. Find that full range of motion. Press back into extension, dropping down to midline, knees together, pressing the knee back, squeezing the glute, point that knee to the ceiling, controlling the whole movement, externally rotating, pulling the knee to the shoulder, return to midline, knees together, starting again here, flexion, abduction, fight for that range, internal rotation now, rotating the ankle behind the knee, pressing that knee back into extension. Return to midline, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, nice and controlled, flexion, return to midline, knees together, starting again, nice and slow. I want you to take note of how your tissue feels as you go through each movement, really focusing on controlling the tissue, controlling the movement, pressing back into extension, return to midline, knees together, and reverse. We have extension, squeezing that glute, pressing the knee back, pointing towards the ceiling, pointing towards our shoulder, pulling towards our shoulder, return to midline, knees together. We're just going to give you a quick second. We got 2 more. Starting again. Flexion, abduction, internal rotation, pressing back into extension, drop down to midline, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together. I'm sure you feel that burn on the lateral side of your hip. We'll give you just a quick second and we'll go again. Last rep here. Flexion, opening up into abduction, rotating that ankle behind the knee, pressing back into extension, return to midline, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, and knees together. Excellent. Okay, next, we're going to go to our thoracic spine cars. Same thing with this one. We're going to do 5 reps in each direction. I want you to go nice and slow. Feel exactly what's going on and fight for that full range of motion. Hands on the shoulders here. We're going to tuck that rib cage down. This is flexion. Rotating, turning the shoulders to the side, dropping the shoulder down into lateral flexion, extending up, rotating the other direction, dropping the elbow down to the side, and slowly coming back around in front. Again, there's a lot of value of slowing down your cars and try to stay as controlled as possible as we go through them. Starting again, tucking the rib cage down into flexion, rotating the shoulders, dropping that shoulder down into lateral flexion, now extending up, flaring that rib cage high as you can. Rotate the other direction, pull that elbow as far back as you can, drop it down to the hip, and coming back around in front, back to neutral. Going to start rep 3 here. Actively pulling that rib cage down, rotating, dropping the shoulder down to your side, extending up, rotating the other direction, far as you can, drop the elbow down to the hip, and back around in front, back to neutral. We have 2 more. Flexion, pulling that rib cage down, rotation, turning the shoulders to the side as much as you can. Lateral flexion, dropping the shoulder down, now extending up. Rotating the other direction, dropping the elbow down to your side, and coming back around in front. Back to neutral. We have 1 more in this direction. Flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extension, rotating the other direction, nice and controlled, dropping the elbow down to the hip, and coming back around in front, back to neutral. 1 more time here. Flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extension, fighting for that range, rotating the other direction, dropping down to the side, and back around in front, back to neutral. Now we're going to go 5 in the other direction. Tucking that rib cage down again, turning those shoulders to the side as much as you can, dropping the shoulder down, extending up, feel that stretch in the side, rotating the other direction, dropping the elbow down and coming back around in front, back to neutral, and here we go again. Flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extending up, rotating the other direction, nice and slow, dropping the elbow down to the hip and coming back around in front. We have 2 more, back to neutral. Here we go. Flexion, rotation, fight for it, lateral flexion, still trying to get as much range as we can, extension, rotation, lateral flexion, and back around in front, back to neutral. We have 1 more here. Fight for that range. You should notice you get more range now. Rotation, lateral flexion, extension, rotation, lateral flexion, and back around in front. Okay, I'm going to give my knees a break. We're going to do our shoulder cars from this position. So starting off, straight elbow. We're going to point our bicep out. Elbow's going to stay straight the whole time. We'll come across the midline. Coming up into shoulder flexion. Nice and slow through that full range. We're carving out that range of motion, coming away from midline. Now internally rotating the shoulder. Fighting for that rotation as we come around behind into extension. And down to our side. And reverse. Extension. Now externally rotating, pointing that bicep towards the ceiling, bringing that bicep up nice and close to the ear as we fight for external rotation, pointing it up, coming across the midline and down to our side. That's 1. Going again. Across the midline, elbow stays straight the whole time, coming up into flexion, away from midline. Internally rotating now, pointing that bicep down, keeping the fist high as we come around behind the back and down to our side. And we'll reverse with extension, external rotation, coming up into flexion, across midline, pointing that bicep towards the ceiling and around to our side. Going again. Nice, slow and controlled. You can make a fist, squeeze that fist, create some tension. Away from midline, internally rotating, get that bicep pointed down, coming around into extension and down to our side. And reverse, extension, external rotation, carving out a nice big circle here, coming up close to the ear, across midline, biceps pointed up, and down to our side. Going again. Flexion. Away from midline. Rotating that bicep down. Really fight for that rotation as we come around behind. And down to our side. And reverse. Extension. External rotation. Coming up into flexion. Across midline. And down to our side, and I believe we have 1 more. Here we go, coming across midline, up into flexion, away from midline, internally rotating, coming around behind into extension, and down to our side, and reverse with extension, external rotation, bringing that bicep nice and close to the ear, cross midline, bicep pointed up, and down to our sides. We'll move on to the other side. Make a fist, straight elbow, coming across the midline, up into flexion. Nice and slow. Really work to get that full range of motion, internally rotating now, coming around behind and down to our side and reverse. Extension, external rotation, coming up into flexion, cross midline, and down to our side. Starting again. Cross midline, nice and slow. Carve out that range. Round into extension, down to our side and reverse with extension. External rotation, coming up into flexion. Across midline, biceps pointed up, and down to our side. We have 3 more. Nice and slow here. Feel that range of motion. Try to pick out the points or the movements that you struggle with. Those are the movements we need to work on more. We have extension, external rotation, coming up into flexion, across midline, and down to our side. And again, cross midline, coming up into flexion, away from midline, internally rotating, down to our side, and reverse. Extension, external rotation, coming up into flexion, across midline, down to our side. We're going to do 1 more to finish off. Here we go. Try to carve out as much range on this last one. Away from midline, internally rotating, coming around into extension, down to our side, and reverse. Extension, external rotation, coming up into flexion, across midline, and down to our side. And that is another episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT. Thank you for joining. Thank you for following along. Please give it a thumbs up if you like the class. Again, you can go back through and do the cars again. Very important in this class to show you what it's like to do a little bit more volume and slow your cars down. Again, you can get a really good benefit from that. So again, thank you for joining, and I will see you tomorrow.